This is Dr. Caroline Peterson and Natural Women's Health Institute in Sarasota, Florida. Today we're doing another anatomy lesson on the internal iliac vein drainage. It's also been known in the past as the hypogastric vein, but generally it's called the internal iliac vein now. The internal iliac vein drains the superior and inferior gluteal veins, which are the ones that drain the buttock and the upper thigh. The internal pudendal vein, which drains the reproductive organs, the external genitalia, and part of the rectum. The lateral sacral veins, which drain part of the sacrum. The middle rectal vein, which drains the bladder, the prostate, and parts of the rectum. The obturator vein, which drains the pelvis sidewalls. The vesical veins, which drain the urinary bladder, and the uterine and vaginal veins, which drain the female reproductive organs via the venous plexus of the vagina and the uterus. So the obturator veins here are going to drain the walls of the pelvis. And so up here we learned before, and this is the ilium and the iliacus, but that's drained by the iliolumbar vein. And so this, we're talking about inside of the pelvis, down here where the obturator veins are going to drain the walls of that down low pelvis part. So the internal pudendal veins are going to drain into the internal iliac vein, and that will drain the inferior rectal veins, the clitoral veins, the posterior labial veins, the penile and scrotal veins, the anus, the urogenital diaphragm, and the perineum. The urogenital diaphragm is like the outer part of the pelvic floor. So here we have the internal pudendal vein. Where's that at? Internal obturator. Here it is, internal pudendal vein right there. That's going to drain the external genitalia, inferior rectum, anus, so forth. So here's the internal iliac vein. That's going to drain the obturator, the vesical plexus, the vaginal plexus, the rectal plexus, the inferior gluteal vein and internal pudendal vein, and the superior gluteal vein. Superior gluteal vein goes through the superior greater sciatic foramina, and the inferior gluteal vein goes through the lesser sciatic foramina. Labia majora and minora veins anastomose with the uterovaginal plexus, and that's then how they drain into the internal iliac veins. So this is like a little net where they all come together. Plexus and anastomose is like a coming together. And so what this creates is redundancy. This creates an assurance that we're going to get blood in and blood out, because you're going to have pretty much the same presentation in the arterial system as you do in the venous system many times. So this is an important system, and with all important systems, there will be redundancy. So manual vascular manipulation is something that I do primarily for the veins, sometimes for the arteries. It's a gentle fascial massage. Usually it's more like holding of the fascia around the veins. Oftentimes, I will also give herbal support for the veins that will consist of herbs that will help to strengthen the walls of the veins and the valves and to mobilize the blood and the lymph. Because varicosities or congestion in the veins can lead to clotting. I also want to use something that can thin the blood, like fish oil or vitamin E, and something like a nattokinase or lumbrokinase to break down clots. If there is too much congestion and too many varicosities, and this has gone on for too long, then sometimes the herbs are not enough. The veins have lost competence. But sometimes we can get back enough competence so that people can feel comfortable in their lives without going through a procedure. If not, the procedure is available. It's good to have the vascular manipulation first, because if the procedure is going to fail, it fails because the backup venous system in the body is not competent. And so it may be incompetent on a functional level and not show up as incompetent until you've had the procedure. And then we can intervene then, but it's much more painful. And it's better to intervene before the procedure if you are going to have one. This is Dr. Caroline Peterson, Natural Women's Health Institute in Sarasota, Florida.